Got ourselves a nice little slate of Sunday games in the NBA today. If you need a break from football, Atlanta takes on Brooklyn for a 3:30 Eastern start at the Barclays Center. Brooklyn opened up the betting as the 3-point favorites and the total at 218. Since the betting opened up, however, we've seen a good amount of the early action come pouring in on the Atlanta Hawks in the over. Right now, Brooklyn's laying just 2.5 against the spread, with the total moving all the way up to a rotund 221. Brooklyn opened up 140, now 135 to win it outright. And at the moment, 51% of the money's on Atlanta to get the job done. Pretty good split of the money for the books. I wouldn't look for the spread to change drastically by tip-off unless we see an unforeseen influx of sharp money come pouring in on this one. Kind of tough to pick games by the trends this early in the year, but I'll certainly try for you. And when it comes to the spread, Atlanta's going 1-1 overall, 1-1 on the road, 1-1 catching points. They've also covered 1 of 2 as the official road underdog. They've also covered 50% of their games against teams under 500. They're going up against a Brooklyn team who against the spread is 1-1 overall themselves. They are, however, against the number 1-0 at home and 1-0 laying the points. In addition to that, Brooklyn's 1-0 covering games at the current point spread, and they're also 1-0 as the official home favorite. Projected scratches: Bembry, Plumlee, Atlanta, Lynn for Brooklyn. Now it looks like the trends are favoring Brooklyn in this spot here, but the early bettors seem to like the Hawks on the road. Me personally, I'm a little bit more intrigued by the trends on the total in this one. Brooklyn games went 2-0 to the overs thus far on the year. They're averaging a ridiculous 129 points of scoring per contest. Even more absurd, they're giving up 131 points a game. Meanwhile, on the other side, Atlanta's giving up 110 points per contest in their first two themselves. Those factors in mind, I'm going to have to forego a play on sides. I am, however, more than happy to take the over 221 in this one. Next game, Minnesota at Oklahoma City. This one tips off at 7 o'clock Eastern in the Chesapeake Energy Arena. OKC opened the 5-point favorites in this one with the total at 210.5. Since the betting opened up, however, we've seen a good amount of that early money come pouring in on Minnesota to get the job done. We've also seen the early money moving the line downward. OKC's now laying just 3.5 with the total dropping down to a cool 209.5. And when it comes to the money line, OKC's opened up $1.85, now 170 to win it outright. I think we should see that spread climb back towards its original opening number of 5 points. I don't really see how the public money's come pouring in on Atlanta or on Minnesota catching just single digits on the road. Plus, OKC laying just 5 at home seems like a bargain. But regardless, if you're an OKC bettor, I'd really go running the books and trying to lock this one in at 3.5 because this is definitely the best price I think you're going to get in this matchup. Once again, look for that closing number to end up close to OKC -5 again. Now, numbers-wise, it looks like the trends are not favoring the T-Wolves in this matchup. Against the spread, Minnesota's 0-2 overall, 0-1 on the road, 0-1 catching points, 0-1 covering as the official road underdog. They've got themselves a real good OKC opponent who's 1-0 covering at home and 1-0 covering laying the points at home. They've also been good covering against the porous, going 1-0 against the spread versus teams giving up more than 102 a game. I like what the trends are telling me here. Looks like OKC laying the points at home is a very reasonable proposition. All those trends are certainly applicable to an outright here as well. I'm going to go ahead and forego laying the 3.5. Give me OKC straight up for some money line cash. And when it comes to scoring, all roads lead to an under in this one. OKC games are 2-0 to the unders on the year. They've given up just 90 points per game in those two contests. Minnesota on the other side is averaging just 99 points of scoring per game themselves. I'll have to agree with the betting public on the scoring in this one. All told, I like OKC winning it outright with the under 209.5. All right, next and final game for the show. I'm talking about New Orleans at the LA Lakers. We've got ourselves a 9:30 Eastern start at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. The betting opened up with New Orleans as the 3.5-point favorites and the total at 218. Since the betting opened up, however, we've seen a good amount of that early money come pouring in on the total. It looks like the public money's favoring a lot of scoring in this one. Currently, New Orleans is still -3.5 against the spread, but the totals jumped all the way up to a bulbous 223. New Orleans opened 172 to win it, now 3-2, and at the moment just 35% of the public money's on the Lakers to cover at home, so look for that spread to increase in size. Lakers bettors should expect a closing number of around 4.5 in my opinion. I think here on through, you're only going to end up catching more value by the opening tip-off. Of course, the trends do not favor your decision if you like LA in this one. The Lakers against the spread are 0-1 at home and 0-1 catching points in the Staples Center. They're going up against a Pelican squad who's 1-0 covering against teams giving up more than 102 a game. New Orleans also garnered themselves a marquee cover over the likes of Golden State 2 nights ago. All said and done, if you're betting sides, it does look like the trends are favoring New Orleans bettors. That said, I'm personally not at all concerned about betting sides in this one because we still have a lot to find out about this young LA team. Total-wise, however, we might have ourselves some good enough info to make a play here. Or maybe not. Both teams are 1-1 to the overs in their last two. Both teams are also collectively averaging 223 total combined points per contest in their last two, respectively. All told, you're welcome for the information. As for me personally, I have no interest in making a play on this game right here. All right, folks, that is going to do it for me. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Productions, I'm Brock Page, and have yourself a positive day.